Welcome back to Inside the Musical Mind. This is Peter Harris, and I'm joined today by the one and only Alex Martel of Deadly Apples. Alex, how are you?
I'm good. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, good to meet you too. So, your new single, "Sacrifice," is out now. What's the reception like? How are things going?
It's been really good. A lot of people have been giving us great feedback, telling us how um, they really connect with it and the numbers are really good so far. So we're we're really grateful for the support we've been getting so far.
What was the evolution of the band? I know it's basically you and Antoine, and you're doing a lot of the lyric writing. He's doing a lot of the song composing. Um, But your earliest work that I can find on your channel, you came out of the box fully formed. Great sound, great production quality, very professional sounding. Was there an earlier iteration where you were learning your craft, like other bands or other projects before Deadly Apples?
Yeah, I basically started doing music when I was a teenager,
Hmm.
and I actually used the name Deadly Apples in the past, even though it was like totally different band, not even quite the same genre, and it was horrible at first. Like I guess, like when most musicians start out, and you know kind of just a crappy local band just
Right.
starting out. And eventually I met my current bandmate Antoine, and we had the same taste in music. And he's a very talented musician, and I guess he saw the drive that I had, and we essentially joined forces. And yeah, but we both did other projects before Deadly Apples.
Okay. Gotcha. Now, from the earliest work to like the music you're releasing now, it will eventually be part of a full album package once all the songs are complete, correct?
Yeah, basically the whole album is has been mixed and mastered for a while.
Okay.
But yeah, with the current state of things in music, it's more of a singles world now. So
Sure.
that's why we're just releasing it gradually. But it was important for us that for those who are still into the album format, that once the whole thing gets released, that it really fits together and makes sense and tells a full story,
Sure.
while also working as individual songs or singles.
Yeah.
um yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect format because this way you also keep the hype of a new song being released every few months, as opposed to you release an album, that's it. It's all downhill roller coaster from there. But yeah, I think that's a good approach in this day and age. Now, as far as the recording of the music, did you do this partially like in a DAW on a on a desktop and then partially in a studio, or what was the process?
Well, Antoine had been working on demos and ideas on his computer for a while, mostly keyboard stuff.
Hmm.
And but it was important to us because not these days it's so easy for anyone to just do an entire album on their laptops in their
Right.
basements or whatever. But we wanted to, I guess, have deeper quality to it. And even if it costs more money and takes more time, we wanted to really, go in an actual studio, work with experienced people. Like, we had Ben Gross mixing the album, and we recorded the entire album at his studio and worked with his engineer, Paul. And that was really important to us to, I guess, make sure, or at least attempt to have a certain level of quality, because it often feels these days like a lot of artists just like just keep releasing music nonstop,
Sure.
which I guess you have to do, but it kind of feels like not everyone, spends the amount of time that should be spent to, focus on quality instead of
Makes sense.
quantity.
Yeah, that does make sense. And it can be a bit of overload. That's true. But when you guys are writing, you and Antoine, like say what makes me curious, like you have Danny Lohner on the album or on these new Baxter tunes playing guitar and bass. Um, when you're writing the material before you bring somebody in to play the guitar, are you doing those in MIDI parts? Are you just not coming up with the guitar part until a guitar player adds their own, or what's the process like for those?
Well, for the guitars, yeah, Antoine had programmed them like with MIDI.
Hmm.
So the parts were existing,
Okay,
um, and but then he basically made those parts his own in the sense that he performed them with his own style,
sure,
and he added some additional ideas and everything, but essentially the riffs were already there. um so yeah, we tried to prepare as much as we could before going in the actual studio, so have as many of the parts ready as possible.
sure, that makes sense. It costs money to be in a studio too.
Yeah, and we spent almost like a year at a studio in LA, like off and on, like not like a full year, but yeah, we spent a lot of time working on this album, and just making sure that it was at the level that we wanted to.
Well, yeah, it's the effort paid off because the music sounds phenomenal, and your videos are extremely professional, well done too. What can you tell us about the story behind those?
Well, actually, Antoine directed the last two music videos for
Uh,
Volatile and Sacrifice, because he's worked as a director in the past for
uh,
a long time, and he actually worked with pretty huge artists, basically directing the visuals that appear like on the screens during their concerts. So he did that for Celine Dion, for Rush back in the day, Avenged Sevenfold, and a lot of others. So he has a lot of experience in that field as well. So we essentially used his experience with that,
perfect.
and yeah, and I took care more of all the logistical side of things to make the whole thing happen, basically. And yeah, we're pretty satisfied with the results. And
Yeah,
some bigger artists have been asking us like how much it cost us, and when I would tell them the amount, they would be surprised, and they were like, "This looks like it cost way more than that,"
right.
but
They look
that's
really
because
good.
thank you.
Yeah, very good. Now, talking about that, the Richard Patrick and Danny Lohner, and you've been shared stage with a lot of major acts at festivals, Korn and so many. How did you get these ties, these legendary bands? Were these people you knew before, or what was the impulse of that?
Well, since I was a teenager, I would always go to concerts all the time, and
Mhm.
my parents were really cool, like driving me to concerts all over the place, and I would usually be able somehow to sneak backstage and meet a lot of these bands. And some of them over the years, they kept seeing me popping up backstage in
Huh.
different cities and stuff, and eventually just became friends. A good example is Monkey from Korn. I
Hmm.
think the first time I met him, I was probably like 15 years old or something. I remember meeting Rob Zombie when I was, I think, 14 or 15. He was doing an interview at Music Plus, which was like the MTV. in here in Quebec,
Hmm.
and I remember just like showing up, knocking on the window with a sign for the host, just saying, "Hey, can you please let me in? I'd love to meet Rob Zombie." And she was like, "Yeah, sure." So I was just like this kid and spent like hours just sitting alone next to Rob Zombie while he was doing interviews for the different shows of that TV station. A lot of artists I met like that when I was a kid, and then I actually became a promoter, and I did that for many years. So I ended up booking a lot of these artists that I had met as a
Gotcha.
teenager, which was, you know, pretty awesome. So I also met a lot of bands and industry people by doing this. So basically, all these things combined, it definitely helped. That ultimately they have to like what we do.
Sure.
Um, so yeah, we're very very grateful for all the opportunities that
Yeah.
we've gotten, in terms of touring or collaborations or whatever it is. Like you know, we're really, we don't take it for granted, basically.
Right. But importantly, you have the goods to back it up. I mean, the music is really it's cinematic, it's it's dramatic, but it's impactful. It's good. It's good stuff. So you definitely it's more than just you knowing people. You definitely had the product to impress them.
Yeah,
Now,
you need both, basically.
yeah, you do need both. Now, you write the lyrics, that's correct.
Hmm.
Are you the type of person that normally like, oh, here's a good idea for a line? Do you stockpile lyrics and then apply them to music, or do you need to hear a piece of music first and then write lyrics to that?
It's a mix of both,
Okay.
like I'll often have ideas and just write them down. And sometimes I'll write like an entire song without any music. And then it's like, it's easy just like writing ideas like that. What's more difficult is then making it fit with the music
Right.
once I have the music, and make sure it works in terms of melody, in terms of the number of syllables, like the phrasing, that sort of
Right.
thing. So there's definitely a lot of work that goes into that part. And sometimes once the music is there, there's empty spaces, so you have to like fill out those spaces in a sense.
Hmm.
um so yeah, I would say that it's a mix of you know the I write them in different ways, basically.
Yeah, it's a real art form knowing where to fit in stuff and make it work. Do you tend to write from personal points of view and personal experience, or do you tend to just like imagine scenarios to write a song about?
I would say a mix of both,
Hmm.
and I, obviously our music is fairly dark, so the lyrics tend to be in that direction as well. I kind of enjoy when, even myself as a listener, like
Hmm.
I like when you can, make your own interpretation of lyrics
Sure.
and connect to it.
Now, you guys had a hiatus for a few years. Was that a matter of just waiting for timing or inspiration to strike or just other life in the way or
Well, we essentially consider the current version of Deadly Apples to have started in 2017.
right,
Um, before that, like, you know, we did some other stuff, but to me, that's really like the start of the current version.
right.
So, but we did stop doing music, like both of us. I mean, I still wrote lyrics on my end, and I'm sure Antoine wrote a bunch of music on his end. But in terms of being active, like in bands or anything like that, because essentially both our careers outside of music were really taking off. Like
Mm,
myself as a promoter, Antoine as a director. And after a while, we just essentially wanted to do something again, and uh, we could have used a new name since it was essentially meant as a new project in a
Right.
sense. But I always liked this name. I even used this name when I was a teenager. When I was starting out.
So, what's the on the schedule ahead for next song release or any live dates, festival dates, or anything for the band?
We're about to announce some tour dates for the US pretty shortly. I can't announce it yet. We're definitely going to be doing more touring next year, more festivals next year. And in terms of releases, we're probably going to release one more song and music video before the end of the year, uh, probably in November, and keep releasing new music next year as well.
What are the best like social media sites to get a hold of you guys? Like, look up the music, get familiarized with it, future tour dates, that kind of thing.
Well, on all social media, it's just Deadly Apples,
Okay.
and same thing on Spotify, Apple Music, uh, wherever you listen to your music. Deadly Apples, you can find us pretty easily.
Sounds good. All right. Well, Alex, I thank you for joining us, and we're looking forward to hearing more soon. It's great so far.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for having me. Really
Yep.
appreciate it.
No problem. We'll talk again soon. Bye.
All right. Thanks.
Yep.